early. So I don't know if I can actually post this. Oh, what's the rules of filming in a graveyard? I guess it's open to the public. More cooks. There's a bunch of cooks. Oh, I guess it's probably not an uncommon last name. I thought of like Captain Cook immediately. Over on the other side. Nixon. Or Hickson? I can't tell if it's an H or an N. Get that freaking symbol up there, Ron. Here we got the the Irelands. James H. and Herbert. What was that? Brothers? Husbands? I don't know, but look, we got the Masonic, what's the Masons? The Irish Mason family over here. we are at an old San Gabriel cemetery. It's an old Jesuit. It's a Jesuit church right here, which I guess is a branch of Catholics. I don't know how that stuff works, but here's where people were buried that didn't have the money for the big headstones. I used to love walking in graveyards when I was a kid, especially. I remember as a teenager too. And at the University of Oregon, the U of O, man, I would forget about this. There's a cemetery like right on the back half of it. I think it is university property actually. There's a huge cemetery on the backside of U of O. I never lived up in that neighborhood, but up in South Eugene. There's a cool cemetery back there. What does 2.5 mean? What is this stuff, man? It's a lot of cool mysteries in death and life. I wonder if it's the Scorpio realm. Pluto, death and rebirth. Death and judgment. Judgment and death and rebirth. Man, it feels so good. It feels so good to walk through a cemetery. It's been years. It's been years and years. Sorry, back camera. I don't know how close it is to my face. It's been a long time, dude. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. E. Cummings was onto something. Thinking about death. Other cultures that actually honor death more, because you honor life more. I'm over here. Actually, I'm a chance to see Father Greg Boyle, who wrote the Tattoos on the Heart, which I was talking about a few weeks ago. And he was saying that he just buried like 200 and something person. I think it's got to be more than that, because it seems like it was those numbers were pretty high in that book, and he wrote another book recently, but just last week, held the service for somebody. Being around death, being around these reminders of the cycle of life and death, and remembering that our time here is limited, man. As humans, we resist it so much, and sometimes we alternate, especially when we're young, we can really alternate between thinking that we're invincible and we're going to be here forever and ever and ever, which on some level, spiritually, we're souls forever, but in the human plane, in these bodies, some of these are so beautiful. I love this stone cutting and engraving, man. There's some of the older ones, a lot of 1800s stuff. Beautiful. I wonder if there's Masons. I mean, I know there's Masons. I know there's in my blood, but I wonder if it's like Mason. I need to look into that. I've always been drawn to stone and stonework, and done a lot of work there. Not cutting or engraving or anything like that, but building foundations, cornerstone, all of that stuff. What are we building our lives on? What kind of ideas? What kind of beliefs? What kind of actions? What kind of daily actions? That's what's important. You know, it's so cool. It's so cool being here, just having this reminder, being reminded not only of my own love for just like spending time in graveyards. Such a sensation of like peace and stillness. Such a sensation. Right here. She's supposed to be on the leash, but there ain't really nobody out here. There's one person like putting flowers. Maybe that car. Unless she actually works here. Death. Death, it's important. It's really important to consider, to keep in mind. There's a lot of things that I've put off. I've not put off intentionally, like pushed back, but some key moment timing things that like have come into my awareness recently. A lot of this work I've been doing, a lot of step work, and just re-examining my life in my recent years, assessing my missteps, especially. These eucalypts, these are it's a couple different kinds. One of those might be like the kind that they extract the oil from. It smells really strong right there. It's good. It's good to remind ourselves, man, life is finite. What are we gonna do, man? There's massive timelines shifting and merging right now. What are we gonna do? It's always a balance too. You know, you wanna take action when the timing is right, and you wanna not blow up entire timelines if it's like the action is right but the time isn't quite right. There's always many possible timelines, but it's kind of scary responsibility when you can see forward and back, and knowing that it's not just yourself or your family or your children or anything like that, but tens, potentially hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of people of lives on the line. And we're talking about warfare and nukes and stuff like that, you know. And a world full of people that you're trying to help, and they'll tell you that you're fucking crazy until after the fact. And all the facts line up and the dust settles and like, oh wow, this person was right all along. It's another very common story that we hear throughout history. Very common story. I'm gonna go enjoy the quiet, the beauty of death. It does the contrast, the juxtaposition between death and life, and realizing it's both juxtaposition and you realize it's a spectrum. And you're always on the cycle, moving back and forth between the two. especially when you're dealing with natural systems. You got all the energy, all the creatures, all the critters moving energy back and forth between life and death. Plants and fungi, the interim, bacteria and viruses, and the other things that move genetic materials around this world and probably around the universe. Reptiles and mammals and all kind of cool shit going on. God, it's pretty funny, dude. Pretty fucking creative. There, tip of the hat to you. Tip of the hat to you, God. And we don't really know even the beginnings of any of it yet. See you guys.